Hey friends! So today's video is going to get a little bit ranty, but I'm also gonna put on makeup so like we can kind of like counteract general bad vibes with like just chill, calm vibes. But we're gonna talk about why I don't shop on Amazon while I do my makeup. Chit chat, get ready with me because that, yep. Hello! I haven't filmed in a while because I've been busy. So I'm filming with my new microphone today. Please let me know what you think of it. It's basically the same as the microphone I was using before, so that's nothing that different. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Amazon today because I get a lot of comments from people recommending me products, and I know people mean well, and obviously the fact that I haven't been like outright with this piece of information, I don't blame anybody. I don't shop on Amazon, and I haven't shopped on Amazon for 2-ish years. It was Christmas of 2 years ago. I bought a gift for my boyfriend, and that was the last thing I bought on Amazon, unless you count a subscription to Audible for 3 months. But let me count the ways why I hate Amazon. First thing, if you have not seen Hasan Minhaj's episode of Patriot Act where he talked about Amazon, I highly recommend it. He hits all the points that I would want to talk about, but like talks about them in a better way and like in a funnier way. If you need more context, if I'm not the clearest in this video, please check out that episode of Patriot Act. I'll let you know the look I'm gonna do today is the yellow eye that I did in my last video because you guys have been dying to see it. Okay, foundation's decent. So that's what we're putting on my face today. This is gonna be a very random, sporadic video. I should have just... Oh, I need that. Anyway. Amazon, let's talk, let's chat. I have lived in Seattle for 4 years now. I have lived by myself for 3 in this apartment, and previously to this, I lived in 2 different apartments over the course of 1 year. It was a whole mess. Tell you all about it in an older video. Amazon moved their headquarters to Seattle 10-ish years ago. So it's kind of been like a steady climb up in just like fuckery. So I'm starting with Wolfling from the Menagerie Cosmetics Feral Palette, by the way, just is like a shade in my crease. Amazon has their headquarters here. They have various warehouses around the city where they have just kind of like taken up shop in old buildings and just like bought out old businesses that can barely stay afloat, and then they just make them distribution centers. But I'm not just gonna like lament about like how Amazon makes the traffic so much worse. Amazon has made our homeless population boom like crazy. If you don't watch the news in this general area or don't pay attention to what's going on in the city of Seattle, hi, let me tell you. We currently have the 3rd highest population of homeless people in the country, besides New York and LA. It is insane, and it is not helped by the fact that Amazon has come in and basically brought in a ton of new people from outside of town, which is not inherently a bad thing, but because of that, people don't move because they know they're not going to find another place to live. So everything is just generally more expensive because they have all these tech workers coming from out of state and not actually contributing to the culture of the city and not actually contributing to like Seattle in general. They just go to work and then they go home and then they pay their taxes and everything, which is great. I wish I could say the same thing for the company because they're given fucking tax breaks up the ass, which
why? I don't know.
It's the richest fucking company in the world. Jeff Bezos is an actual like cartoon villain, like superhero cartoon villain. He has so much money. What does he want to do? He wants to
send it to fucking space.
Yeah. But let me tell you a little bit of backstory of why I have a beef with Amazon, besides the fact that it's ruining my city and making everything too expensive. I am friends with Mark Constantine, the CEO of Lush, on Facebook. It is one of the weird perks you get when you work for Lush, is that you get to become friends with their CEO on Facebook. And there was this little story that I heard from my coworkers when I worked at Lush about a time when Amazon UK got in it with Lush. And so the CEO of Lush, Mark Constantine, bless his motherfucking sassy ass soul, wasn't happy with some of the practices that Amazon was doing regarding Lush, because if you know, Lush doesn't sell any of their products on anywhere except lush.com, except on like Lush verified websites. They don't sell on Amazon. So you would get people buying Lush products in the stores and then reselling them for like 4 times the price on Amazon. So you get all these people being like,
why are these so expensive?
It's like, what do you mean they're so expensive?
Yeah, I spent $20 on them.
that's not okay. And as well as that, people would search for Lush on Amazon, and then instead of just saying like, oh, you can't find any results, they would list things that were companies that were not Lush, but similar, or also they would list the products that were listed by like secondhand sellers just trying to upsell things, which is like really shady. And so Amazon was issued a cease and desist from Lush, and they did not comply. So Mark Constantine did the pettiest thing you could ever imagine. He created a mock-up of a body conditioner, one of like Rose Argan body conditioner. He made a mock-up of a product called Christopher North, named after, I think it might be the CFO. Correct me if I'm wrong on the screen, editing Abby. Correct me, please. He named a product Christopher North, and in the little description underneath where it usually says like,
bubble up or lather up, join a friend in the shower.
one of the cheeky little fucking phrases on the Lush pots, it said, Christopher North, thick, rich, and full of it. I loved every part of that story so much because it just further solidified how much I love Mark Constantine and how much I hated Amazon. And this was before I was like boycotting shopping from Amazon. How long has Abby spent putting on yellow eyeshadow? I don't know, but it's a really pretty yellow eyeshadow, so I'm not mad. This is the shade Night Eyes from this palette, by the way. That's ironic. Oh, Night Eyes, you can see in the dark. I get it, which is ironic because I'm putting this on at fucking 11:41 at night. Yeah. Night Eyes. Tell me about it. So probably the bigger reason why I've decided to like fully boycott Amazon, besides just like my own personal vendetta against them for destroying what could have been like a cool thing in the city, like the head tax for companies that make over $20 million get taxed per employee that they have to help curb the homeless population, because the homeless population is insane in Seattle. They knocked that out. So what Amazon actually did, let me sidebar for a second. Amazon held one of their buildings, one of their construction projects hostage until Seattle City Council bowed down to Amazon's demands of knocking out the head tax completely. So instead of just like negotiating and maybe coming up with like a better plan, because to be fair, the head tax was a little bit ill planned for like other businesses, like smaller local businesses, but it was directed at Amazon. Like, let's just be real here, because they're not paying all the same taxes that other companies are, because Seattle City Council is so afraid of losing Amazon, because apparently they brought in so much money into the economy. They have, but they've also costed us a ton of headache and heartache and money in zoning issues, in construction projects, in like land owning. Just Amazon has like come in and taken over. Was that a long enough sidebar? I hope so. Anyway, end sidebar. I went to an improv show once where that was like a bit where like took so many sidebars and then like you just got stuck in a sidebar within a sidebar. Then they couldn't get out of the sidebar loop. I will not get inside a sidebar loop, I promise. But what made me truly want to boycott Amazon to the extent of like, I traded my mother money for gift cards that I got from my grandparents for Christmas. Like, I got an Amazon gift card for Christmas from my grandmother, and my mom saw it and she was just like, I'll trade you. Because I feel really icky shopping from them. Besides basically ruining the bookstore industry, they have destroyed small businesses, both in the sense of like location, in that like small businesses can't stay open anymore because people are so fucking attached to their Prime accounts now that like nobody actually goes to stores, because they know at least within this city, they can get things so fast with Prime and Prime Now that people don't even bother leaving their house. So small businesses have been hurt by that, but probably the worst offender, the worst part of Amazon, in my mind, kind of was more solidified when I watched that episode of Patriot Act, because I didn't necessarily know all of the details of this until Hassan talked about it. I almost put eyebrow stuff on my nose. Well, first they started out as like a book company, like a bookseller, and then they got into just other kind of products. So because they were overtaking the market so much, smaller businesses had to list their products on Amazon to get any sort of like search help, like in the algorithm. So smaller businesses that would have products that they would sell, they would list them on Amazon, and then what Amazon would do is essentially they would just like take the market information, take the seller information, see where they were getting it from, and then undercut the small businesses so that they could actually gain that market share. They would end up losing money to gain market share, and that's like super fucking predatory. Like, they lost money. They like would put on crazy sales to gain all of these like new customers, like specifically on Amazon, just to like kill out the little guy. And that's very frustrating. So that's what they would do. They would just take over the market share, and it's not a monopoly at this point, but it's working its way there, and it's definitely an oligopoly. It's gotten ridiculous. I didn't know all about the Amazon Web Services thing until Hassan's episode, but I did not realize that like so many different companies use Amazon Web Services, which is crazy. Like, what? This is gonna be the most fucking sporadic video. It's very frustrating when people compare Bill Gates to Jeff Bezos, because Microsoft and Amazon are inherently different companies. They are both now tech companies. However, Microsoft has always been a tech company. Amazon started out as an online retail business and worked their way into tech because that was something that they wanted to take over. Bezos has always had that mindset where he wanted to just like take over the new thing and just like be the best at everything. And that's not the same thing. Like, Microsoft and Amazon are not the same thing. And Bill Gates, what they did back in the day, they built up Bellevue. Microsoft made Bellevue essentially, but Amazon came into an already relatively thriving city of Seattle and just overtook it and like overfilled it, overwhelmed it. I'm not against growth. I get some flack for this. Like, sometimes if I comment on things, when they were looking for HQ2, Phil DeFranco mentioned the story in one of his shows, and I was an idiot and commented on it because, as we all well know, DeFranco's commenters are real great people.
Such a fun comment section. Yeah.
I talked about it and people were like, oh, you're just against growth. Like, why are you so against like new people? Like, you just want to like stay with the old ways. I'm like, I just don't want people being pushed out of their homes and then end up living on the street, because that's not cool. Like, I see all these unemployment numbers where it's like unemployment in the city is down. But does that matter when all the people who are employed need 2 or 3 jobs to fucking get by? Like, excuse me? Where was I? Powdering my face. Powder my nose. Powder my chin. Powder in between my eyebrows. Oh, I got powder in my eyes. Oh god. I've only been powdering my nose and I've been loving it, actually. I haven't been powdering under my eyes. Christy, you're so right. Time for cheek stuff. Amazon has destroyed everything. When I first moved to the city, I lived in a 4-bedroom house. It was like a 100-year-old home. It was actually a really great deal. It was like $2,000 for the whole place, $2,000 a month between 4 people, and it was awesome. It was like a great deal. Our utilities bill was crazy because it was like a big old house, but the rent itself was really cheap. Then when I moved into my second apartment, which was also 4 bedrooms, I believe that was also $2,000, but it was like split up slightly differently. It was a little bit weird, and it was an apartment building. It wasn't like a house, like it wasn't a full house. So that was also relatively cheap, but it was in a relatively unsafe part of town. Like, there was a dismembered lady just like found in a dumpster not far from there. And I was like, oh, fun. And like a guy got shot down the street. So like, cool. This is a great part of town. And then when I moved to where I am now, it was $950, and that was 3 years ago. And now I'm paying $1350 for a 2-bedroom, essentially. When I first was looking for a place to live, this was the same price as all the other 1-bedrooms I was looking for, so hence why I got it. That's low. Like, that's a little amount of raise in rent. Like, I have managed to kind of avoid the huge jump in rent. I will post links to articles below that give like various statistics about how much average housing price has insanely ballooned. The rental rate has ballooned. And I'm not saying that Amazon needs to like fix the homelessness crisis and fix the housing crisis, but like Bezos could donate like an insane amount of money to the city in the name of like the homelessness crisis, and he would still be the richest man in the world. There's just an insane level of greed and just lack of awareness that has to exist with somebody like that, who has more money than any one person in the world, and they're causing the home base city to struggle. Like, they're causing hardships and crises. Like, it's not just like, oh, it kind of sucks in Seattle right now. It's like, it's a crisis at this point. Pearl Jam put on like a fundraiser and a concert like to fucking help with the homelessness crisis. Like, you have musicians who have lived in the city longer who are doing more to help with this than Bezos and Amazon. And it's very frustrating seeing that the city just like does whatever fucking Amazon wants. I don't want to stand for it. I don't want to buy from it, and it's not something that I want to do. I don't mind waiting for shipping. Like, that's another thing. Let me try and do my eyeliner while I'm talking. That'll be a fail. Where I work, we ship out things every so often, whether it's stuff that we're selling on eBay or just like stuff for clients. People are so used to Amazon Prime now that they don't really realize how much shipping actually costs anymore. Like, I have never had Prime, maybe for like 30 days once for a trial. I've always paid for shipping, and I've always waited for shipping. And I don't think I'm an impatient person when it comes to shipping. This like Prime and Prime Now culture that makes everything so fast and so easy to get, just helps like perpetuate consumerism. Heyo. Anybody on Reddit who thinks I'm not anti-consumerist enough, excuse you. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know where that cut off. There we go. That looks about right. I look like Wolverine. That's a look. I think eyeliner's done. Yeah, now I'm just gonna let it dry and do my cheek stuff. Cheek things. What was I saying? Shipping. People have an unrealistic expectation of how fast shipping goes and how much shipping actually costs because they're so used to their Prime. So postal workers have to put in extra long hours. There's so much more of a burden on postal workers now because of stuff like that. The extra frustrating thing is that besides the postal workers not making a lot of money, which is not Amazon's fault inherently, Amazon employees are not making enough money to live. This like unemployment number doesn't mean shit when people are living in their cars. So they may be employed, but they don't make enough money to live in a place with a roof that's not their car. Like, I've seen plenty of stories of Amazon employees who end up like sleeping in their car in the parking lot. That's not okay from a company that's like makes the most money in the entire fucking world. Like, pay your employees, okay? Speaking of paying their employees, because Jeff Bezos is not a cartoon villain enough yet, when they did vow to raise their wages to $15 an hour for minimum wage at Amazon to match the rest of the city of Seattle, instead of just doing that, they also like cut employee bonuses and like employee like stock options. They paid them more per hour, but they like took money away at the same time. So like people's wage increase ended up costing them money. No, that's not how that works.
Jeff.
I have hit major pan on pink heart, and I don't know what to do. So basically, people who work at Amazon are either making like an ass ton of money who work in corporate, or they barely make enough to live when they're working in the warehouse. And they have to work long hours. People feel like they have to piss in bottles because they can't take their fucking breaks. It's terrible working conditions. I actually have an inside scoop from a girl that I know shared some stories with me. It's really, really difficult. Like when you work at Amazon, it's really difficult to move up as an employee to like get promotions because it kind of works on like levels, kind of like Scientology, which is great, a great analogy. So for example, a warehouse worker, or we call them fulfillment centers, are level 1 employees. The levels go all the way up to level 12 where Bezos is, and Bezos is the only level 12 within the whole company. That sounds creepy. From what she's also told me, Amazon doesn't really care about you as an employee until you reach level 5, and you don't actually get stock options until you reach level 4. From what she told me, within the company, there's poor management, there's a lot of nepotism within the company, within these different levels of people. It sounds like Prefix and fucking Harry Potter, where people are just like playing favorites. That doesn't sound fun. And clearly with the number of employees that they have, which is currently this number in the city of Seattle, they still can't fucking actually run a company in a ethical way. I need to put on more highlighter. I really hope this video had some sort of cohesion. I don't know if it did. Who knows? Ooh, that is a highlight. So while I'm finishing up this very Hufflepuff look, which I did not intend it to be, it's like Wolverine, Hufflepuff, Bumblebee, all roll it into one. This is honestly how I've been doing my eyeliner lately, so if it's a little extra for you, you don't have to do it this big, but I've been liking it. The reason why I don't shop from Amazon, one, they're ruining the city of Seattle and everything that it ever was. That's a bit hyperbolic, I realize, but it feels that way, okay? They're incredibly predatory and stomp down small businesses. Three, they've held Seattle City Council hostage because the council doesn't want to lose Amazon, because we've banked so much of our fucking local economy on Amazon that if they ever lose, if they ever leave, we're fucked. Again, that's another thing that's on the city council, but like Amazon hasn't made it any better. Without Amazon, that wouldn't be a problem. We have Boeing, we have Starbucks, we have Microsoft, and we have Expedia. We have a ton of companies that are local. Amazon is the one that the city is banking on. And the city is like making, like, they're doing anything the company wants, including giving them tax breaks that they don't need. And don't even get me started with Alexa. Don't even fucking get me started. I could go off about AIs for a fucking hour, but I don't need Alexa, like, listening to my conversations and, like, doing things for me. I don't know. I don't think I fucking need that. That just makes me more lazy. Is it done? I don't fucking know. I have no lipstick on, but I don't care. Just bad. They're just bad. It's just a bad company, and I don't want to support them. And I think that it's very uncommon these days living where I do live, because it's so easy to get anything on Amazon. I feel like actively not doing that has made me a more conscious shopper and a more conscious spender, because I don't have Prime. I actually have to wait for things. So I have more foresight in what I need to buy and what I need to purchase. And if I need to purchase something online, I will buy it in time and wait for it and pay the shipping, because shipping costs money, whether Amazon wants you to think it does or not.
That's the tea, sis.
I feel like it's kind of a backwards thing. Like, when somebody has Amazon Prime, while they're saving money on shipping, they also feel more inclined to shop more because they don't have to pay for shipping. So as another way that I've kind of helped to counteract consumerism within my own life has been to not actually buy things from Amazon. So I'm not telling you to stop shopping on Amazon. I'm not telling you to do that at all. I'm just telling you to think more critically maybe about where you're spending your money, and if you want to support Amazon as a company. Obviously, if you live in like a rural area where like Amazon is your like most important resource to get things, and you don't have like shops you can walk to or drive to very easily, yeah, use Amazon, because that's what it's there for. But if you live in a city, you don't fucking need to shop on Amazon. I'm just saying, like, you can go to a store, you can go to a mall, like, unless there's something that physically is like stopping you, unless you cannot go somewhere to buy something. If like accessibility is like your main concern, yeah, use Amazon. But if you're just using Amazon because it's convenient, they're trying to rope you in for the convenience. They're losing money to keep you. You know? I hope this wasn't so incredibly sporadic. It probably was, because it's fucking midnight, and I don't know. I've had a long day. So your song of the day, we're gonna do a little left turn here, a little left field. Danny Gonzalez put out like a fire track, just like totally roasting the slime community, and it's so fucking funny. It's just it's called Slime King. Please listen to it. Please watch the music video. It is very high quality production value and so good, and like I love the content he's putting out lately. Like, I love it so much. So Slime King by Danny Gonzalez is your song of the day. Please leave me suggestions for videos in the comments below. I have some ideas rolling around in my head, but I need to get back into the swing of things, because it's just been a very busy week, and my sister's been in and out a lot, and it's just been like a lot of days where like I wasn't home very much. I will be doing like a massive kind of like declutter little series. I already rearranged my room, but I'm going to do like a declutter of my closet and then a declutter of my like vanity. Even though I did one last time, but it was like specifically my makeup collection, I really need to just like go through all the drawers. I have a lot of shit in there, and I need need to go through it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Please hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't, whatever. Anyway, see y'all in my next video. Bye!